What does the hive need? Where should they? I mean, this new emissary, for example, what should they do? And you have even heard Hiver talk about we need a new hive that has new views and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And
No.
met a cool
I'm
role and all
I'm
sorts of
with
things, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what the spores are. They're, putting out that,
mhm,
you know,
that's what I'm thinking.
work together,
So
harmony,
mhm,
work together, try to take the edge off maybe some of those
right,
harsh feelings that might be creeping in that a Duke might see from others as like, who are these guys? Who's this guy?
right.
Trying to just, you know, pretty just, just relax, man. Let's be cool.
Okay. So in that case, trying to turn on and to tune in and turn on the
Yeah,
hive. Um,
exactly.
so the question is, can you do it?
Can I
And
do it? Yeah,
yeah.
I might just piss them off.
hmm
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and this is also, Jerry, this is kind of your time to see whether you are actually going to be making an impact in terms of what you had said earlier, whether the hive is ready. I mean, the left to its own devices, the hive people, the community that you walked out of a few minutes ago to go to the delegation, right, with the emissary,
Right.
left to their own devices and making a new emissary as they see fit, they're basically going to go into attack mode. They're basically going to go and start mulching, thoroughly
Uh,
in the manner to which they have been accustomed. It's especially because of this information of an attack and all sorts of things. I mean, they're ready to go on strike mode, and you of all hivers, you saying otherwise is weird.
Right.
You're weird. You've brought mold in, walking, talking mold, which is and saying it's part of the hive and talking about what the emissary is going to do next, and it's weird. It would be acceptable if we all just looked at it a little differently, and that's what we're finding out. Whether
Yes, we're getting new perspectives.
Mhm.
Well, Hiver is old, compared to other hives because he's been allowed to gestate and to grow normally as opposed to,
right,
going into swarm mode.
right,
So Hiver has seen a lot more than other hivers have seen.
well,
But
that would sound like a great
um,
trait to write in with your new words, if you ask me.
oh,
Do
yeah.
you have
no,
a
I
few
totally
spare
will.
words?
Hiver's old. I used all 30.
Oh, okay.
That
All
I
right.
have. And
Well, keep that in mind for later. I mean,
Hivers,
when I hear a trait come out in dialogue during play, I'm like, ooh, hold that thought. Stick that in there if you want sometime.
well,
Yeah.
no, I made a trait out of it. Hiver's age allows its nuanced understanding of alien hives.
Ooh, okay.
That is what Hiver has.
So, are you going to put any pluses on that trait? Because you're allowed to do that during play.
Well, I've got. So the dice from the pool, I can just add one die equals +1.
Well, from 0,
Yeah.
yes. From 0 to +1 is one die.
Okay.
But if you wanted to go
yes.
from +1 to +2, then you're going from a cost of 1 to a cost of 4, so that's going to be 3 dice.
Okay.
Right.
So
yeah, you have to make up
I
the
will
difference.
add a +1 to Hiver's age allows
Yeah.
nuanced understanding of alien hives because he's been around.
Mhm.
He's seen stuff.
And
And
as if the last 24 hours haven't been an in-depth lesson in that very thing. As
that's
well.
right. Well, without annihilation, destruction, and no mulching, you get to understand things. But
And who knows?
yeah,
maybe
so
a little Mercap spores have worked their way into you at some point as well. You never know.
That's right. Exactly.
So, all right, let's see then. So Renee, are you interested in a role? And Jerry, are you interested in a role? Because you both have the same goal, basically. There's no reason. The way we do this, when you both have exactly the same goal and are effectively working together, is if one of you succeeds, then it succeeds. And I do get to narrate sort of a failure issue for the one who fails if they do, but it's not It's not contradictory. If you're both doing the same thing, one of you succeeds, then it means it succeeds.
Gotcha.
That's how
I've
help
got my
works.
one.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've got
So there's a
the.
better chance of us succeeding.
Mhm. Sorry, yeah, Renee, go ahead.
I've got that trait, desire to use abilities to influence others and make connections.
I know. Hmm.
So I'd probably use that. That's 4 dice for me.
That's
And then whatever.
okay. Wow, that's a +4.
Yeah.
2. Yeah.
Okay.
Rena.
That is a lot.
Yeah, how'd you get a +4? Okay. Well,
Isn't that what it is? If you spend if a +2, it's 4 dice.
+2
I'm
is
sorry.
4 dice. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay, so that's 2
dice.
dice there, right?
Oh, it's just 2 dice.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I guess I was.
I think you got it
Sorry, 2
backwards.
dice.
For a +2
Yeah,
on the
so-
trait, you spend 4 dice.
Gotcha. Yes. So it's just 2. Gotcha. All right.
So, but I'm giving you 3 dice because this is the sort of thing that Dukin does, better than anyone. This is, and you're in like the ideal spot. The place is like bioorganic in every imaginable
yeah.
way. I mean, this is Mercap paradise. So you're like, these people need help,
They need help.
right?
Um,
So
but
that's
yeah.
5 dice right there, and then you can gamble any pool
Wow.
dice you want if you want. And so Jerry,
Okay. Yeah, I will absolutely use my Hyver's Age trait. Hold on one second. Da-da-da.
ah,
Oh no.
Yep, I had to reset again because everyone's.
okay. Ready?
But yes, I would like to use that. So that's a +1 die for me, and whatever dice, if any you're throwing in.
Only one, because unlike
Okay.
Dukin, you are going against everything. Right. This is so you've got 2 dice. So
I'll
it's like,
spend. Yeah, I'll spend a die for my pool to make it 3 dice then.
that's all. Okay.
So,
Well, this is some. Well, no, because this is something we're pushing for, right? Is a new way. So you know what? I'll spend 2 dice,
Ooh.
making it 4 dice total.
Okay.
So I'm taking a gamble of 2 dice out of my pool, 1 dice from you, and 1 dice from my Hyver's Age in this nuanced understanding.
We have
So,
we
I
have
roll
liftoff.
all right, I'm gonna say
Yes.
that one as well. So.
Okay. And
Are we
I got a big donut.
Okay.
Yep, I got a donut.
3 ones.
Wow. Okay.
A 6, a 5, a 2, and 3 ones.
Okay. So and Jerry, you got none, correct?
I got none.
Okay, those 2 dice,
I lose those
those
2
2 dice
dice.
go away. And then so
Okay.
your pool drops by 2. But
Yep.
I will say that it is that therefore I get to narrate the sort of failure of Hyver. You make your case beautifully, and it looks for the moment as though your fate will be first actually, no, this is terrible. Your fate actually would be annihilation, which means that they'll process you before you get mulched, so that only your essential
Yes.
ingredients go into the mulch, and all of your nasty, tainted, individualized heretic notions, stay out of the mulch. Thank you very much.
Right?
So that would be, sort of everybody's giving you the let's do that look right at this moment. And we might as well dramatize this is when the new emissary is actually, coming out of the membranes. And so it's that emissary who's going to state the final, judgment upon you. Everybody's kind of looking forward to this in kind of a Hyvey way. Renee, do you want to
Okay.
take the monologue and narrate how you succeed, how you and Hyver succeed? Or do you want me to do it and you take a die for your pool?
I'd love to take that dive for the pool.
Oh, you want the die? Damn. Okay. I wanted to hear what you had to do, what you wanted to say.
Well, no, I mean, I'd say it, but Oops,
goes
lost
Jerry.
Jerry again.
Nope, Jerry's here. That was Helma who's dodging.
Well, you know what? Well, if I narrate it, what in game terms, what does that give to me again?
Yes. First of all, you won't get a new die for your pool. But
Okay.
first of all, you'll describe the run-up to the success, especially given what I just said. And then you will say how it plays out, how you succeed, how this occurs. And you also get to say its effect. You
Gotcha.
get to actually say what is the ongoing impact that this is going to have. So when I pick up, play, I have to do basically what you said.
All right. Okay.
You don't
let's
get-
do that.
Yeah, you don't get backstory authority. You can't make up stuff out of thin air,
Sure.
but your impact is wherever you want. This is like your critical hit, basically.
Right. Okay. So as this is happening, as the hive is kind of gathering and probably releasing their own however they communicate through pheromones, I don't know how they exchange information and go into war mode. But Dukin just gets very calm, gets very quiet, and then as they're just talking and discussing, and Hyber's presenting his case, and you just see these spores and kind of weaving through the hive, slowly infiltrating, and people, the hive itself starts changing perception. Like in their mind, things become brighter, colorful. They're seeing themselves differently, but they've never ever seen themselves differently before. Everything, smells, sense, reality, themselves as they look at each other. They see, a glow, a different perception of their own realities. And everybody kind of calms down. Everybody chills out. They actually see what Hydra is saying and start incorporating it into the hive mind, changing, how they perceive others. And how if that lasts, I don't know. That's 3 months. That's pretty good. So I'm hoping it makes a lasting impact. They see trails with their hands,
You guys doing this?
Yeah.
I take it for God.
Well, first of all, and Renee, you also can play the emissary at this point too, if you want. What does the emissary say? Fresh,
gotcha,
new,
I see.
fresh and new and glistening from the vat.
right?
Chrysalis.
From
Yeah.
you might just the tone changes, becomes softer, becomes slower, not so militant sounding. I see what you're saying, Hyper. I understand how we can become stronger by acting as one and bringing others into the hive, and then we can create a greater strength within our numbers, and perhaps even grow stronger by incorporating some new ways. Yes, I can see what you're saying. And he just kind of nods.
Mhm.
Everybody nods,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that red anger that was in the room, or that it's not necessarily anger, but that that eminent violence that was building up, suddenly just washes.
Ooh.
And you kind of can see that there's, and maybe not 100%, but there's definitely willingness now to accept some change. So there you go.
So the hivers are going to show up to tomorrow's get together in their Volkswagen
Yep.
bus,
There's-
and
Exactly. Our Birkenstocks and our
We're
doors.
gonna have some beads on.
right,
Yeah.
I know, it's all there,
this.
right?
Oh, good lord.
I know.
I don't want to come to the housewarming party, thank you.
I'm Hyber. This is Moon Hyber.
That's right.
This is Sunday Rain Hyber.
And I think this is why the Dukin's race could be perceived as a problem, because that is their strength
Mhm.
and how they control others.
Oh
with
yes.
whatever perception you want.
Yeah.
So that for good or for bad, that could be something that actually works against Dukin.
Yeah.
Because they would say, okay, this guy, you can't have this guy in the room.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
gonna
that's
be a
that's
problem.
you remember the throw. We're prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
So
Okay, so good, excellent. Well. The as we continue, um, the uh, the Dukin have sorry the Dukin your Dukin the Luca
Yeah.
will have their presentation for everyone. Do we want to deal with Avix and the Scrang? And oh, and I know that you guys also wanted to go down below. The answer, Jerry, is that if you want this to be known to everybody, then you'll use the entrance that the Voir had discovered in the hangar bay. If you don't want it to be known to everybody, then Hyver drones can basically dig down to where it is most estimated that that you can estimate. You guys are all sciencey. All the different
Right.
people here are sciencey. You can do some sort of modular,
Right.
modeling system that will give you a likely place to go dig
Right.
if you want. And if you think that none of the other peoples are doing their own version of this, then you're being very naive. So,
Right. Well, may we do both? Because, we want to be out in the open. Like, hey, we're going in the hole that everyone sees. However, dig us a different hole, and you guys stand by. And when I give a signal, burst through, and then, we'll have a route out or whatever. So
the
I
question
would
is,
like to do both.
Excellent. Which one are you going down?
I'm going down the one for full disclosure. Hey, other hives, Hiver is going into the hole
Yes.
that everyone can see. But,
Gotcha. Okay. And so, and is Dukin going to go with you, or that's up to Renee, of course.
Yeah, would Dukin like to go? Would Hyver, Mercap Dukin?
Yeah, Mercap, Hyver Dukin would like to go. Are we going to bring others with us as part of the?
Probably a few little
Yeah.
drones to fetch, carry, block, die for the
Exactly.
hive. It's what they're for.
Yeah, have those drones crawl on your back, and bring more drones with you. And more the merrier for Hyver. Hyver wants everyone to go.
Okay. So excellent. That is currently underway. Back at the Avix, the information sharing, actually, I mean the Kogo is much deflated by the time you guys get there. The main Scrang fellow is much deflated when it's kind of become clear that their kind of dominant strategic position, their symbolic power that was their orbital station, after all, is gone. And the tacit message that the Avix know everything the Scrang get up to without too much trouble, that message has kind of tacitly been delivered as well. So you don't know whether the information that you're going to be being provided with is really any good, but you can analyze it to see if it's been altered or tampered with. But there's no conflicts. The Scrang are they're never humble, but they're polite. They're polite, and they want to be taken care of by somebody right now, so they'll be good. So yes, that is what's happening there. So we have kind of I want to tell you. Oh, sorry. No, Jerry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, I was just going to make a silliness, but go ahead.
Okay.
Keep us on track.
Sorry. I'll try to be less boring, actually, than everybody else.
No.
So let's do this. The nature of this whole structure underground looks like this. Okay, so the labels on this thing are all completely non-meaningful. It's the structure that I like. And even the picture is actually, the person who made this made a space station. It's not a space station the way we're using it. This is a huge circular conical board into the Earth, so only the very top of it is flush with the Earth. So you've basically got this this structure. Certain things about the labels kind of make sense. in terms of where goods are brought in and where the living quarters are, and the fact that the little tippy tip at the bottom is mostly technical in some way. That's all. We can preserve those. Now, this hasn't been explored yet. In fact, the players now know it better than any of the characters do, just by looking at the picture. But it
Right.
gives you an idea of what the different exploration teams have been encountering. And the first thing you'll find is on the first level, which is the biggest, this huge expanse, which is much bigger than the hangar base. It's spread way out underground. Is that the first explorer teams have set up lights. So there's different kinds of technologies, but they have set up, and also not all of them use light. So there are other means of perception that have been set up by different peoples who've come in to explore it in the last few hours. So that means that most of the time you'll be able to just look around and see in that top level.